That's the next day. Still monitoring our slightly puffed Chevy Volt module. Haven't noticed any change since we pressed her together more. And even the next day it's still at right around 46.8 volts. So got a cover on it to keep it out of the sunshine. I'll monitor it for a little bit more and we'll go from there. There was a second 48 volt 50 amp hour battery module in the cart. They got over discharged and puffed a bit. And this is the second module. I kind of dismantled it a bit. Pulled out the foam rubber plastic mats in between the aluminum cooling plates, and then took them out of the plastic frames as well. Those bolts are pretty decent. I would say in the beginning it was, grab the tape measure here, I think it was about 14 inches wide at the bottom, which would be about right here. But after removing the spacers and plates and stuff like that, and then this is a 1-inch steel plate with a pile of chain on top. I'd say it's about 20 pounds. I've had on it for a couple of days now, and it's pretty much reduced it down to right around 10, maybe 10.25 inches. And originally it should be about 9.5. And I have not recharged it or anything. And it is at the, well, when I first checked it, it was 38.7 volts. Now it's, I'm not getting a good hold on it, 38.4. Here's what a normal unpuffed 48 volt 50 amp hour Chevy Volt module would look like, and they're usually about 9 inches wide, top and bottom. Whereas, like I said, the puffed one here, if you go just the plastic cover, it is 9 inches, but from the table that they're sitting on up to the top cell looks to be just a little over 10, maybe 10.1/8 or 10.25. So they still got a little puffing going on. But for the information or whatever, there are 36 of the lithium pouches. There's 17 of these, well, they're kind of foam on one side and more of a shiny plastic on the other. There's 17 of those. Then there's 19 of these cooling plates. They just seem to be the same plate, two of the same plates, stamped and then reversed and laminated together. They even got like a clear lamination, a little extra here at the edges, you can see up here at the top. It goes all the way down, but it stops right along here. It's just a straight line all the way up. I tried peeling them apart, but they're glued together pretty good. So, and like I said, the cooling jackets, coolant lines have been cut off of these modules, so those are not any good anymore anyways. Then looking at the case itself, yeah, it is just, let me see what I got here, 17 of these just plastic rings, kind of hold all the pouches here. And then there's two end plates that are also plastic rings, but they have a metal insert. And then on the positive end, I believe this would be a thermistor. And then there's a couple of tabs that connect in there. This is just one of the end plates. Would be the other end plate. And this would be the positive end. Our thermistor would be right in behind this steel plate. And then Duncan asked about the top metal ring. This is what they are. It's only like, I would say maybe 14 gauge steel, maybe 16 gauge. It's real thin, but as thin as a dime. It's almost like heavy duty banding material. But that's usually what's around the top of these batteries, and I just throw a heavy duty plastic band around them. But I think they're mainly because the plastic top is just like, I don't know, plastic welded here and there to these things here. So I believe that metal band is just a reinforcement for these little welds, if you can see them up in there. Look at this one here. Like I said, I haven't charged this one up at all, so it was like in the 37 volt range. So I'm thinking about maybe trying to disassemble it even further. So we'll go from there. Let's take this weight off of here and see what happens. Put a couple of them pads on it to protect the cells a bit. It's about 10 1/4 in the top. And our voltage didn't change after taking the weight off. We're still at around 38. Kind of looking at the battery here, module. These are the two terminals for the thermistor. But looking down in there, I don't see any wires for the BMS plug right here. But it looks like this channel here, see there, it's kind of thick. So I would say the wires or terminals for the thermistor and all the individual BMS terminals are inside this channel. Doing a little bit more inspection. The top just seems like about a 1/16 to an 1/8 inch plastic cover. This terminal block and the terminal, the power terminal, doesn't go all the way through. Plastic on the bottom. So it's just embedded in this plastic case here. And then on the other side, the terminal that they use to bolt them together also doesn't go all the way through. So now I'm thinking maybe we'll dismantle a little further and remove the cells from this top block and these connection plates. So you can see right here, 1, 2, and 3. There's 3 separate cells that they have welded together to like a metal backing plate. So the metal backing plate is what's kind of connected to the plastic top cover, I guess you would say. So You can see behind the metal backing plate. Slide this pad out of the way a little bit. But it goes down, I would say, a good 1/4 inch lower than the plastic cover. So I'm thinking maybe if we can cut right along the bottom edge of these welds, we'll still have about 3/8 to a 1/2 inch of kind of this foil type material to use as terminals. Just to try, I tried a good sharp brand new carpenter knife, and it scored this aluminum type terminal for the cells, but it certainly didn't cut through it. So I'm thinking maybe we'll try a cut off wheel with the Dremel, nice and gently. See here, yep, that first tab is released. Alrighty. Alright, I had to move the camera to finish cutting. It was throwing stuff on the camera, but there's the terminal from here. Like I said, that one's already been removed, so I believe this top shell cell should be free. Yes. Alright, I got those tabs all cut off. So that cell should come out, and so should that. And since they were all in parallel, these should be both negative terminals just like this one, and so should these. But I'll double check them before I mark them. Well, I've got 12 of our cells removed from our module so far. And I've been numbering them as we go along, so this is number 13. We just gotta keep cutting, then move our cover down, cut some more, move our cover down, and alright, I got them 3 trimmed as well. Alrighty, got the very last tab cut off. And this is what the Volt battery top looks like. There's a couple of terminals at each end, and then the rest of the BMS wires have to be inside of this little tunnel thing. Alright, 34, 35 and 36. And I noticed that number 36, the very last one, is glued to the end plate. But I don't see any terminal or anything for a thermistor, so I don't think there's a thermistor on this end. So the cover here must just have thermistor terminals on each end, I guess, so it's universal. There's your just clamp together terminals, and then this is your actual terminals. I got all of our cell groups out now, or all the cells, and then I've kept them in their cell groups. So this is 1, 2, 3 cells, one cell group, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and so on. So I've kept the cell groups together, and then now I'm going to check all the individual voltages and get some data. Getting ready to take some readings of all of our cell groups, and cell 1, cell 2, and cell 3, the first cell group, are all bouncing between 3.1 and 3.2. So I'm going to put them down as 3.2 volts. Now check the rest of them and record the data. Halfway through collecting our data. So far we've been real consistent all the way down to the 18th module, which I have connected right now, and all of them have been this kind of bouncing between 3.1 and 3.2 volts. So that's pretty consistent. I'll go ahead and check the other ones. Alright, down to our last cell group. Everything has been the 3.2 volts across the board. So I have cell number 36 or 34 connected right now. And I'll go ahead and move up to cell number 35. Still the 3132. And then I'll go ahead and cell number 36 is now connected up, and same thing. So it's been real consistent across the board. More to come.